So this is a video I made almost 3 years ago with Simon Yu talking about Shanghai, and it's not a sensitive topic. It is some generic topics, but I don't know what's wrong with them. Now they decide to, block it entirely. So this video is not able to show up to any of the audience for some reason, and it is claimed by this movie. It's like 35 seconds or something like that. It is really ridiculous, and but I don't have any problem of the viewership, because this video didn't even get a lot of views. And I'm a small channel. I don't have the problems like the other big channels. Once they put up a video, it's got a lot of view counters, but for me it doesn't matter. They cannot censor me up. So yeah, I decided to edit it and upload it again. Anyway, thanks, and maybe just support me by just review this video or something if you haven't checked out this video. Anyway, thanks. What's next?
So yeah, since we are all from Shanghai, why don't we just talk about our
Shanghai.
opinion about the city, right?
Yeah. So, as I said, I was born here, and back to the 80s, when China was just opened up the border, like we call it 改革开放,
Yeah, it's like what's it called?
reform and political reform. No, not political reform, but it's kind of like reform of the economical reform, like China.
Start opening up, right?
Yeah, opened up the border and welcome the world to do investment and set up a business, etc. in China. And compared to that time, I think Shanghai is improved a lot, especially in the city infrastructures, and like people are like getting wealthier than before,
Yeah.
and the living standard as back to the 80s, I think also improved a lot, because when I was a kid, I was living in like small alleyway.
No, I see.
Yeah, and so my home is like 10 square meters big, and it has like 3 people living together.
So I was born in like 90s, so
Yeah.
I don't have that specific memory. But my parents did told me that when I was like 2 years old or like 3 years old, at that time we also have like similar like living condition, like people like 4 or 5 family members living in a very tiny space,
Yeah.
and there's no sewage system, and
No.
like if you want to take a bath, you have to go to a
If you want to go to toilet, one option is find a dark place and resolve your problem. And another option is we have like some kind of
the
container.
bucket, right?
Yeah.
It's like a wooden bucket, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you just take a dump over here, and
Yeah, that's
dump
right.
it somewhere else in a specific time in some sort of
Yeah,
place.
and also there's like public toilets in
Mhm.
front of your neighborhood.
Okay.
Then you can access in that. But it's usually like a very stinky and
Yeah,
a dirty place.
correct.
Yeah, and so from like this hardware level, Shanghai improved a
Public
lot.
infrastructure wise, definitely. I wasn't born in like 80, but 90, I also see like huge improvement.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
my parents, my grandparents, I think like we have like how many lines? Like 18 or even 20 metro lines right now in Shanghai.
I don't know. It's more than 10. I think.
It's
Yeah.
more than 10. It's 20. Like virtually can almost take you everywhere,
Yeah.
and a lot of like high speed like railway system.
It's not
That's
expensive
limited.
as well. And you,
It's quite affordable, I would
Yeah.
say, compared to a lot of like developed countries. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the subway here is like only 4 or 5 RMB, and it virtually can take you everywhere.
So in Copenhagen, if you want to take like several stops in the metro, firstly in Copenhagen they only have like two metro lines across the city, because Copenhagen is not as big as Shanghai.
Yeah.
But for every time like single ticket, you spend like 60 or 70 RMB.
Oh, 60 to 70 RMB for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
one single ticket.
Yeah, around that.
Okay, well that's quite expensive. So every day, if you do like round trip,
No,
they're gonna take you.
then you have to have like some kind of like
Monthly
monthly
pass.
card.
Okay.
Yeah.
but as a
But still
tourist.
But still cost a lot, fairly amount of money compared to Shanghai. Right?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm going to say, because
I would say like almost everywhere in Shanghai nowadays, you will always find a like subway station like within at least within 5 kilometers you will find a subway station.
yeah, that's right. So I think all these metro systems are built since the 90s. Before that, we
Don't have.
we didn't have.
I remember it's like the first like line 1.
Yeah.
It was built around like 1997.
Yeah, 1997,
something like that.
around that age. So back then, more like during the 80s, like the bus system, we call it like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a very simple bus, and it's very slow. Like if you want to get around the city, it probably takes you like 3 hours.
And I also think the bus is always like fully packed. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't even have a place
Someone
to
kick
hang
your
your
ass into
hand
the,
up, right?
Yeah,
And a lot of people, they have to stuck their like hands between the door in order to hold.
yeah, that's right, that's right. And yeah, especially during the peaking hour,
Okay.
because you don't have like other options to get around the
Yeah, I
city.
think that either you can take a bus or either you have a
Bicycle.
And
Yeah.
I think at that time, like not a lot of people are able to afford bicycle. I don't know if that's correct.
I don't think so. I think it depends on the distance.
I
If
see.
it's like within 20 minutes of riding a bicycle, probably you will prefer to have a bicycle, because that's why you see like bicycle flows
Okay.
after the walk off time. If you living like more than 1 hour like
Yeah,
distance away to the place that you are going to work, then you are forced to take this bus system,
The bus,
which
yes.
is very
And
difficult.
at that time, like virtually no one was able to like afford a car, right?
No,
No one can have a
I mean,
car.
car is some kind of like alien technology back then. So you have like
You have to be like some like senior official or like some
Yeah,
official,
you are
because people won't be able to afford a car. Like cars are all bought by those like national companies.
yeah,
So,
and by the way, it's like a very a dirty
like
Volkswagen Santana.
old-fashioned like Volkswagen.
Santana. But anyway, I mean, so for this like public transportation, yes, of course, it's improved a lot, and the highways.
Yeah, I mean like public infrastructure, like economy-wise, Shanghai has improved like huge. I think like they might even rank the like top 5 cities like which have like huge, like fast improvement
Yeah,
within like for the past like 30 years or something like that. Right?
yeah. Hi.
But also like of course like some problems like the cost of living here like in Shanghai nowadays is also quite higher, much higher.
It's based on which level are you in the caste system. Like if you are an ordinary Chinese or not Shanghainese, and you got some kind of normal job, maybe working, I don't know, working in a national company, or you are working in the restaurant.
I mean like average salary in Shanghai, I would say like
It's very difficult to say average salary, but it's like the range between like I don't know, 5,000 to 10,000.
5,000 will be like a
5,000 is very difficult, I think, nowadays.
yeah, I think like 10,000 is like the standard. But
Yeah.
I think the majority of people living in Shanghai still didn't make over 10,000. I mean, if you're like working for a like office, you have a white collar job,
Yeah,
then you can make more than that. But for people like those delivery guy or people working like for the restaurant, these workers
yeah.
probably
Except you are delivering like 1,000 packages a day.
yeah, that's a huge amount of work. So.
Yeah, you need hard work to get more money. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So from the living standard, of course, Shanghai is improving, but with other problems like the difficulties to find a job and the competitions between the companies, and the working hours even longer than before. So now we do have like what's that called, 996?
No, I said, yeah, if you work in the IT industry, then you definitely heard about 996. It means like from 9 in the morning all the way to 9
India.
in the evening, right?
In the evening,
And
yeah.
every week you will have to work 6 days, so that's why we call it 996. Sometimes it's not.
It's even longer.
It's even longer. It's not.
If you
there's-
want
I
to
think
keep
there's
your
some fancy
position,
words, yeah.
yeah. If you want to keep your position secure,
Yes.
like you want to stay in a stable position in the company, then you have to compete with the others in this way. So longer working hours.
And also, most of the time they don't pay you like working overtime.
No, I mean it all depends on if you have like mercy boss or something. So if your boss is really nice and he is like totally follow the Shanghai
Okay.
law, and then probably you will get like overtime paid. So in Ericsson they pay overtime for
I
sure,
see.
like based on hour. So if you work like one more hour, then you will get paid. But I don't think it's applied to the majority of the companies, especially those private companies.
I mean in Shanghai, right?
Yeah, in Shanghai.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think to be along with the national, or not national, the international companies will give you a relatively stable job position and as well as fairly nice payment as
Okay.
well. So
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people they would choose to like having a. I mean, a lot of people they graduate from those high-end college, but they end up like choosing jobs, working for the government or from those like national-owned companies because most of the time those companies don't require you to like work super hard. I mean, still you have a decent living. I mean, you might not get like very high payment, but at the same time you will have a lot of other like benefits.
yeah,
right?
you are talking about the national companies and because back to the 90s, the Shanghainese would like to work with the international global companies because they provide very good salary.
Mhm.
But when this city is developing, like our economy is growing, and then nowadays people are tend to work for our national companies rather than global companies because nowadays you can see some kind of backwards, like the foreign companies are moving out of China
Yes.
because the cost in China is increasing.
Yeah, yes, because
And so and they also have to face those competitions
I think
from the national
I mean the
companies.
environment of doing business in China is might not as good as like before maybe.
Yeah, because back to the 90s, those foreign companies like got very good I don't know how to call it, laws and policy.
They got some like incentive, like the government
Yeah.
might like avoid those like tax
Yeah.
or like give them some like free land to use.
Yeah,
for-
because back to the old time, or not old time, but back to 90s, like the government, Chinese government, want to attract those international companies to come to China and invest their money in China to help China to develop.
Mhm.
But now maybe the Chinese government think we are wealthy enough. Why do we need you guys?
Mhm.
So we treat you equally.
Okay.
So they remove all the good policies since I think it was the 2000 and 2010. I forgot the time.
And I think in certain occasion, definitely the national companies here in China does have a advantage. Like
Of course,
also-
the
also-
bank
I
investment.
mean, a lot of resource, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of like policy was made, which will be beneficial for them.
That's also make the Chinese think, yeah, so we are now better than you foreigners.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our country is moving forward and we are getting powerful and powerful. And so this kind of psychological things behind. Yeah. So anything else about Shanghai?
I would say, just take my personal experience. I would say all of our family members actually have been beneficial for the entire like development of Shanghai, right?
Yeah, I
People-
think
our life have hugely improved, but I think
both of our families are not the victim of the system. Actually.
I mean like the Shanghai development.
Yeah, we benefit a lot. Otherwise, I would not have opportunities to get overseas to study because to
Sure.
study overseas back to 2010 or 2009, and it was like almost cost one apartment like millions of
Yeah.
RMB.
Right. Shanghaiese, I mean, we do like appreciate all the things we get and all the convenience, all the like economy, resource we have because of the development. But also, I think personally, I also have a certain expectation, which hopefully it can improve even further,
Oh, yeah.
making Shanghai a even better place, not only limited to economy, but maybe in the future we will have more involvement in making the decision of the city
Yeah.
further, right?
Yeah.
And
And this morning I saw a video clip, which is a foreigner that interviewed a girl in the Chinese media, and that topic was about if the foreign guys are attractive than the Chinese men, etc. But that guy who is the vlogger, who is the content creator, that asking these questions to that girl, when that girl responds is like, I'm from Zhejiang province.
okay.
So the guy, I mean the foreigner guy, he was like, where's Zhejiang? So
Okay.
he is located in Shanghai,
Okay.
but he has no clue where Zhejiang province is. I mean, this is some kind of things that I want to point out. Like a lot of foreigners come to Shanghai and stay here. They don't like go beyond that, and they are living in a Western bubble and go to the pubs and with their foreign friends, etc. I mean, Zhejiang province is like several hundreds kilometers away. It takes like 1 hour to get there, but they have no clue where it is, which is ridiculous for me, because it's like I'm living in Sweden, but I have no clue where Denmark is. I don't have any clue where's Finland. So it's the thing that I mean, the foreigners are trapped in like small area.
Okay.
They are fantasy place.
Yeah, I mean, like Shanghai, Shenzhen, or Beijing, they are like, I would say they are only like actually very small amount of like land
Yeah,
compared to all those other places, right?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But the majority of like foreigners actually they live in those big cities, so they might have those kind of stereotype, like
Yeah.
thinking maybe Shanghai or those big cities can represent the majority of all those like Chinese cities.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm totally understand as a foreigner. If you go to an environment or a place which is totally as different as your comfort zone before when you grow up, and then sometimes you tend to stay in a small zone that you are comfortable with. But that's not the aim of moving to another country. I mean, I like to travel around because that's also challenge myself. Then I have to arrange a lot of things because I'm exploring the unknown world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so that's maybe about the foreigners in Shanghai. Yeah. So, but this is something that I want to say.
Okay, great.
Yeah.